back to the channel. Here we have Epic 7, the OG game for this channel, and I wanted to rediscuss topics about this game, because obviously for all those who have been watching my content, this game has gone under the radar in terms of me just not uploading it, and I wanted to give a reason why. There's a couple reasons, at least most of them are more emotional after thinking about it. That's why I didn't really come out with it when I actually felt this stuff. But I like to just give a record of how I came into Epic 7 to begin with. I am from the previous Epic 7 World Cup, at least that's what I watched before jumping into the game. Not the one that's currently come out for last year, but the one for before, and then I started the game after that. That being said, so obviously I came into the game knowing that I was going into RTA, so essentially I wasn't here for the PvP. So coming in to find out I need to do an excessive amount of grind and it's not really plug and play was also a thing, right? It's just like a hit back, but obviously I've stayed, so it wasn't that much of a deterrent, was it? But considering the last meta I saw, I feel like there was just a straight up heavy shift in meta, and not in terms of the playstyles but in terms of the units themselves. I think since the last meta, at least in my opinion, and I'd love to have a discussion, but I think the units from the previous meta were almost all eradicated to a certain extent. This wasn't a slow shift, this was a hard cap, right? Let's give an example. Emo Landy and Emo Yufin, those two units came back to back, or effectively back to back. You can toss in Emo Shu because Emo Shu is also in that wing. So we had a small sphere where units just came out and they became the meta. They became things you needed to sweat and worry about. Innately, that wouldn't be a problem if there were a few units, but these units came in waves. And my issue is most of the answers to, like, let's say an Emo Yufin and Emo, most of the immediate answers, there are some playstyle answers, to be fair. Like, you could come up with a team to counter an MO Yuffie, but then again you came up with a whole fucking team to counter one unit. That should say wonders to the whole shit. But if you are trying to counter a punch to punch, unit to unit, most of the answers to these units were other units that came out. So you just had a wave of units that were just problem makers. Urban Shu, Abyssal Yufin, Lone Crescent Bellona to a certain extent, right? Martial artist Ken buff, Navy Captain Landy. I'm thinking of DJ Bazaar, right? These units were either buffed and or released in this time frame that just literally shaked up. These are units you'll see someone pick and you can't ignore them, right? I don't think you can ever ignore DDR, Death Dealer, right? Without, like, unless your playstyle literally is an anti-DDR playstyle, you can't ignore his existence within the format. And again, I am relatively new, right? I'm not an endgame player. I do not have the extensive things on the higher end, right? So I'm gonna lose a couple of these units unless I put in an egregious amount of money. Now you could just say, well, just whale. Is, financial situations and so on and so forth, right? You can't always pull for every unit you fucking want. It is what it is. But the problem was the answers to these units, these ML units, were limited RGBs, which are not even, which I consider technically worse than these units, because at least these units you can fucking get whenever you want, right? You can luck out getting them in the Moonlight Pools, you can luck out getting them in the Mystics when they reroll, right? You can even get them from the Covenant summons, right? The base summons. But the limited answers, and I'm talking about in grander things, I am talking about ML, no, not ML, like Ocean Breeze, Luluka. I'm talking about Lilibet. I'm talking about not Lilibet, Lidica, right? The new Lidica. I'm talking about Gala Lilius. I am talking about who else? I'm forgetting the names. Leafy, literally my banner character.